What's up, guys? Welcome back to 25 High. It is early. I don't know if you can tell, that's the sunrise right there. Well, it's already up. This is probably one of the earliest I've woke up this whole summer. Not going fishing, not getting to go hunting, nothing like that. I gotta go get COVID tested. This ought to be fun. Alright guys, lighting's probably great. Got me some breakfast, a whole hearty breakfast. But yeah, I gotta get COVID tested for college. Required to do so within a certain amount of time or whatever. But I got a plan for today. As soon as I get done with this, I'm gonna go buy me a trail camera. One of mine got stolen the other day, and I'm pretty sure I know who did it. But one of mine on public land got stolen, so I'm gonna go buy a camera, put it out in a different spot probably, and I want to show you guys something that one of my buddies gave me this idea. And I figured I'd share it with you guys and try it myself. I've never done this, but figured I'd try it and share it with you guys. Alright guys, just in case anybody was wondering, this is what coronavirus testing looks like. It is currently 11:40. I just walked in and asked, and I'll be in the next group that comes in, so probably, if I had to guess, I'll be here another hour. And I got here a little after 7 a.m. this morning. Yeah. That's what testing looks like right now. It's crazy. This world is crazy. But I did want to show you one thing real quick while I'm sitting here. One thing I'm doing new this year is I'm keeping journals of all of my hunting adventures. I've got 2 of these journals. One is for all of my trail camera pictures that have good bucks. So when I get a good buck on camera, what I do is I'll take and write down the date, and let's see what all I've written down in this book. My dad actually gave me this book. It's like for engineering plans and stuff. This one, I've got where the trail camera is, and I've got, this is my first check on this camera. I've got a buck with one side, one of his antlers is only one side growing, so I just put one-sided good buck. Looks like a really nice buck, except he's only got one side. But I've got the time. He walked through at 7:30. And I've got the moonrise, the moonset, transit, and percent. I've got the sunrise, sunset, sun transit. I've got the weather, everything. I've got the temperature, the dew point, humidity, barometric pressure, the wind, speed, and direction. And I've got what the trail is, where I think the deer is headed to and coming from. Kind of a little bit about the habitat. This other entry is from some public land. I got a couple good bucks on camera, and I got the same one 2 different days so far, and I've got the same thing, but like this is I know for a fact this is a bachelor group, and on one of the times they're headed to a peanut field, and another time they're headed out. It's just something I'm keeping track of. I'm gonna write down every time I go scouting, if I see anything interesting, if like I see deer, run into something cool like a ton of sign, or just find some beds, something like that when I'm scouting, write that down, and I'll write down that same type of information as far as like the weather and the moon phases and stuff, and also like where everything is, and like a story about it maybe. For all my hunts, I'm gonna do the same thing. If every time I see, pretty much every hunt that I see deer, I'm gonna take note of it. And every hunt that I see a good buck, I'm definitely gonna take note of that, and probably be a little bit more detailed with the good bucks. And every time I kill a deer, you know, even more detailed, because I'll obviously have more details. So it's something I'm really excited about. I'm gonna try to keep this going, hopefully forever. But it's something I'm pretty excited about doing, and hopefully. If you guys have been wanting to do something like that, you can see this is inspiration. But this book, I really like it. It's a Write in the Rain. I think this size it's the smaller version of this notebook by the brand that has the most pages. So I think this thing has like 160 pages, or it's got like 80 pages, but they're lined on both sides. So plenty of room for writing stuff down. I don't know, it's got waterproof paper. It's a super nice little notebook. Hopefully here in a minute I'll show you guys what I've got planned for today. Alright, well, just got my negative test back. Haven't been anywhere to catch it, just had to get tested for school, but I will catch you guys on the way, probably on the way to the woods. I'm still gonna try to go this afternoon, but I got some stuff to do. This took way longer than expected, so I got some stuff. It's currently 2 o'clock and I got there at 7 o'clock this morning, so that's what to expect if you get COVID tested, by the way. But either way, I'll see you guys on the way to the woods, or when I get to the woods or something. I'll see you guys later. Guys, so as per usual, number one, I'm late, and number two, I'm fully clad in everything I need, pretty much everything but my bow. I need a saddle hunt. There's a field back behind me, you can see. I came up to this corner to the woods just to check it out, and obviously there's a big gap. It's the lowest point of the field, and it's obvious to me, but it might not be obvious to some of you guys, which is why I'm saying it. That is where the majority of the tracks are, and I just saw a really nice buck track. So there's a lot of tracks there. It's a really nice buck track, but the way this place sets up, which I'm really excited about, there's this field, and then there's a field up here that's pretty much cut off by a creek bottom. You can get to it from public, but you have to go through a lot of private to come through the other way. And then, so there's like a big field, and then there's a creek bottom that kind of cuts it off most of the way. I mean, a farmer can get through on his tractor or something, but there's that, and then there's a decent chunk of public, and then there's some private between the two, and good travel area. That's basically all I'm saying to this field right here. There's a good buck track there, which is super exciting. I like this spot. This whole area seems like a pretty good travel area. This private, it's a spider web. Gross. I'm a little closer than I probably should be, but as you can tell, that stuff's thick. The public's pretty open. There's good bedding here. There's good bedding down closer to the other field, and there's really good bedding that I hunted a little bit last year that's like a decent ways away from here. But what I think I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna find a good spot, maybe where they're like coming out of some of the private or something like that. And I'm going to try something I've never done before, and that is setting up a vine scrape, like a mock scrape, using a vine. And the idea behind it is, it's not necessarily a scrape, like a rut scrape. It's more like just a lick and branch marker area, and those vines last forever, supposedly. I've never done it before. I'm really excited about it, and I'm also, I don't know if you caught that in the little B-roll shot of me getting ready, but I also have something a little unique for putting my camera up that I'll show you here in a minute. Alright guys, here's what I'm seeing right now. I made it all the way back to this field, and if you look right in here, right through there where it gets a little extra thick, that's the private, and then this thicket kind of juts out. Up here it's pretty thick. That's all public for at least a little ways. There's a really good old rub back there, but this looks like, with all these oaks right here, this looks like a prime staging area for these deer before they jut off into this field. I feel like if a deer's gonna come out of this creek bottom and head to either one of these fields, they might come out of that creek bottom down there and come here before going to that field. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of deer are gonna stop by here when these oaks start falling. these acorns start falling. I feel like this is gonna be a prime area to be early season before this place gets pressured. But I'm gonna try to find a vine real quick. I know I'm gonna put it somewhere in this area. I just don't exactly know where yet.
I know.
Alright guys, so here's what we've got. There's a $2 doorstop holding my camera at an angle. I really want to go up there and adjust it a little bit. But over here, we have our grapevine. As you can tell, you see that? It's dripping a little bit. And I think that's what attracts them a lot. I kind of had to tie it up because I got a twisty vine that's kind of spinning around. Pulled up the ground just a little bit. I got my camera set on video mode. I got a really good feeling about this. I have a very good feeling about this. There's oaks, there's a field, there's another field, it's pretty. This place right here is just tracked up bad. There's a bunch of old rut sign around here. I'm gonna go up there and change that. It's bugging me. I gotta have everything perfect. While I'm here, I'm gonna make it right because I'm not gonna be back here for a while. Alright, I'll get you guys on the way to the truck. That probably doesn't look any different on camera. But there's a limb that's out of the way, a couple limbs that were kind of might cause an issue out of the way, and it's angled better now, I think. But this is my first time doing this. Yeah, that looks a lot better. This is my first time doing this. If y'all have done it, let me know what you guys think about it. Man, there's still a lot of acorns on the ground here. There might be some early ones dropping that just died early. But like I say, if you've done this before, let me know. I know it sounds crazy to set up a mock scrape in August, but from what I've been reading and some of the results I've seen, which granted most of that stuff was in the Midwest and whatnot, but a lot of the stuff I'm seeing leads me to believe that this is a very good strategy for early season, like getting an inventory of bucks. Kind of what I'm thinking, I'm just going to leave this here till probably bow season. I might actually come check it in like a week just to see if that camera's working right. It should, I don't know. I'll leave it for a while. I'll probably leave it for a while. Yeah, it's basically just to gather an inventory of what bucks you have. I mean, I've got plenty of trees right here to climb if I get a good buck hitting this during the daylight pretty regular. But I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I might kill a deer here this year. Maybe not right here, but somewhere around here. Alright guys, made it back to the truck, headed home now. Before we get into the outro, the first thing I want to mention, since we're dealing with crops today, I wanted to mention the little bit I know about crops. I don't know that much about them. I don't have a ton of experience, but I have more than some people, I would say. So in the summertime, let's start out with peanuts. In the summertime, peanuts are, in my opinion, around here, the best absolute food source for a white-tailed deer. Now, I don't know anything about clover, so I'm just not even gonna talk about it because I've never even seen a clover plot in person. But I know clover's really good for deer, but I don't know anything. I don't have anything to. I don't have any clover to compare that to peanuts. So I'm gonna stick with what I know. I don't know that much about it, but I know some about it. Peanuts. In the summertime, I believe it is like the best food source for a deer. Now, the only issue is that it doesn't provide any cover. So as soon as that peanut field gets a little bit of pressure, they're gonna come real nocturnal, and or at least they're not gonna come out in the fields in the daytime. They're gonna start moving away from the fields to bed and stuff like that. But either way, peanuts is a very, very good food source. Before we move off of peanuts, the last thing I'm gonna say about them is the absolute best time to hunt a peanut field, if you get lucky enough, is the day or the day after they pick those peanuts. if they pick them in the morning and you're in a position where you can check it pretty much every day, you better be hunting that peanut field that afternoon, especially if there's no pressure on it. Like, I'm talking like private stuff, because as soon as they pick it, those legumes, the actual peanut, is so much more nutritious for them than just the plant. As soon as they pick those peanuts, like last year, I've got a good example of this. Last year, I was hunting a small chunk in Florida that I posted one video of that. It's a small chunk of private in Florida, pretty much only fields. And what happened was I had corn out right next to the peanut field, just because there's nothing really out there that funnels them to a specific spot. So I just put corn out there as like an incentive to like stop before they get in the peanut field, kind of like stage up, get some pictures. I had it out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I had barely even gotten pictures of spikes. I got plenty of does on that camera, but I had barely even gotten a picture of a spike. And then I went out there again to check the camera, and they had picked the peanuts. This was before bow season, so I didn't get too lucky. But the day they picked the peanuts, or the night they picked the peanuts, the night after, there was like 6 bucks in there, like good bucks. All of them were good, and there was a few small ones. And then the next 3 days, the next like 2 days, I think, there were consistent daylight pictures of those exact same bucks. And it was like every morning they'd be at the corn before they went out in the peanuts, or when they come back, and then every afternoon they hit the corn before they got back in the peanuts. So best time to hunt a peanut field is the day, or the next day after they pick it, after they pick them. Now, moving on to cotton, since that's what we were dealing with today, and those are pretty much the only 2 crops down here in South Alabama. Cotton is not as good of a food source, but it is a great summer food source. It's nothing compared to, I mean, it's not near as good as peanuts, but it's better than a lot of stuff that's in the woods right now. I mean, everything in the woods has been subject to this harsh summer climate here, and it gets kind of wiry and gets kind of bitter, and if it gets dry, then it gets all crumbly. It's just there's not a lot of green, nutritious stuff in the woods during the summer. But when you put cotton out there, the farmers really take care of it, and it's a really, really good food source for the deer. Not as good as peanuts, but it's really good. But the other part of cotton, which I have an example for as well, cotton provides a ton of good cover. And cotton, if you know anything about like Midwest hunting, it's almost as good as corn for a deer. Like there's not many cornfields around here, but like in the Midwest, deer will bed in the middle of corn. They'll live in the cornfield and only come out at night because they know they'll be safe there. Well, around here, our deer do similar stuff in cotton from time to time. But I was hunting a cotton field a few years ago. This is like the first year I started filming hunts. I was hunting a cotton field, the same property in Florida, and this giant buck gets up out of the middle of the cotton field and just starts running away. And I think there might have been coyotes or something that spooked him. I'm not exactly sure what it was, because I had the wind right and he never would have saw me. But he was spooking from something else. He was looking in a different direction and kind of spooking. But either way, he got up in the dead center almost of this big cotton field, stood up, and I mean, this is like a 5-year-old, 4.5-year-old, 5-year-old, like 120-inch buck, and he was in the middle of a cotton field. So, and this was after it was defoliated, so it was a little different than right now. But either way, cotton may not be as good of a food source for peanuts, but it does provide cover, which peanuts don't. Which, in my opinion, what that means is the deer may hit it a little less. There may be a little bit less deer traffic in cotton field areas, but those deer are more prone to continue hitting it in the daylight, even after a little bit of pressure, simply because of the good cover it provides. And like, if a deer stands up in the cotton, they can see everything. When they're sitting down, if the wind's right, they can smell everything. That's pretty much all I got to say about crops. I don't know that much about them. There's so many other things I could learn, which is why I'm out here trying to figure it out. I'm pretty excited about this this vine scrape thing. I've never tried anything like it. The first time I ever even heard of anybody using a grapevine. By the way, that was like a grape, like woods grape. Bullaces is what I've always called them. Scupping on is like what we call the tame version, the domestic version in the South. but we call them bullaces if they're in the woods and they're purple. We call them scuppernons if they're green and they're in somebody's yard. That type of vine, I never even heard of anybody using that. That type of vine is what I've heard is the best. But like I say, never heard of anybody using that until like 6 months ago maybe. And I never even thought about using a mock scrape until last season. So I don't know if it's gonna do anything for me this time of year. It might spook some bucks. I might have spooked some bucks in there today, but I know there's a good buck in the area. We saw his tracks, and I just hope my camera doesn't get stolen. I hope I get some good intel from that camera. Like I say, put it in the comments if you've ever done anything like this. If I did anything wrong, please let me know. I'm always looking forward to learn. But I kind of just made this video to show you a couple things that I'm trying, because my goal this year is to try a few new things, and I've got other goals other than that, but my main goal is just to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and try new things. And the other new thing, one of the new things, part of that is my hunt journals. I'm driving with my knee now, that's probably not safe, but I'm on a old country road. But I got my 2 hunt journals that I'll be keeping, and I'm definitely going to keep up with those for as long as I can. I'm going to try to put something down every time I get back from the woods. I'm going to try to jot down at least something. Even if I jot down I'll jot down what the conditions are and saw nothing. I'll even write that probably. But that's enough talking. I feel like I've talked way too much already. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and always remember to live life 25 feet high.